believe that we're at the midst of this Latino renaissance.
Yeah.
The biggest things in the world right now are Latino. It wasn't cool 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it seems that is the main driver. I just read a statistic earlier today as well that said that U.S.-based Latinos represent the 5th largest economy in the world. So if we were a country, within this country would be the 5th largest country.
Oh, my God.
So I feel that the challenge at hand is that we haven't fully woken up to the realization of our potential. I feel that we still suffer from a lot of antiquated gender roles, expectations, traditionalist, just controlling things that endlessly is self-imposed a lot of times. Like nobody has to really do it. You kind of just feel that you have to do it. So I guess that's where I wanted to really open up the conversation. Like, obviously you're a business owner. Like I told you, they're rare, they're hard, it's not easy. And I'm sure that you've had to kind of like power through your share of bullshit. So what has that journey been for you? And what does it mean for you to be a Latina-owned business?
So, I mean, I started like just selling, like not even selling, just with my family, making chamoy for family parties, for friends get-togethers. And it just got to the point where like, well, now this friend wants something. Now this friend wants the other thing. So I'm like, I kept debating, like, should I do this? Should I really do this to myself? Having a full-time job and then thinking about starting a small business was kind of like, oh my God, should I really, really, really do this? So talking to my friends, talking to my family, like they convinced me. They were like, go for it. Like, just do it. So I did. I just like, one day I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this. Having a small business is just been overwhelming, but at the same time, I see things that have been happening and it's like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Me organizing events, I don't judge. Like if a Chamoy person comes over and says like, hey, can I be part of your pop-up? The doors are open for you. And it's like, the way I feel is I was given that opportunity to join other pop-ups. I was given that opportunity from other people's in their houses to bring in my product. I want to do the same thing for others.
Most, if not all, Latino entrepreneurs that I know have something to prove. We kind of all have a chip on our shoulder. What is that for you? What is the thing you want to prove to the world doing this?
That I can do it. That, no, like, you don't need a bachelor's degree. You don't need a master's. You don't need a high school diploma. You just need, like, yourself. You need yourself to be motivated to be able to do whatever you want to do. That's what I love about this. I just have a high school diploma. I have a full-time job. I wish I could go higher. I wish I could do something else, but having this small business, it's like I'm my own boss. I get to say, today I'm waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go to sleep at this time and I'm going to do this because that's what's being a owner of a small business. And then seeing others and then seeing my customers sending me messages like, this was amazing, thank you. That makes my day every day.
It's interesting. When I was a kid, I grew up in Guadalajara. There was a tianguis every Saturday. And, merchants from all over the city would come. And that's been happening for over 100 years. And I was probably like 12 years old, and I wanted the PlayStation that had just came out. So we were poor. There's no way. It's like a pipe dream. But I said, I'm gonna buy it. I need to find a way. There's literally 1,000 entrepreneurs outside my door. I can't be the only one not doing something. So I told my mom, like, I need a business. And then my mom was like, well, what do you want to sell? And I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, how about bolis? I don't know why. Because my mom made a lot of, like, aguas frescas and shit. So she the day before the next tianguis on Friday, she kind of made agua de Jamaica horchata. She put them in these little baggies and tied them up, like very home home cooked, put them in the freezer. Then I had a little like cooler, and I just like got out and started like slanging them. And I realized I had a lot of charisma, and I could like walk around. I was really chubby, and like I started selling it, and I kind of like started building up. And fast forward a few months, I was doing it basically full time. Not only on the tianguis, but we live in a very industrious area. A lot of small businesses all over the place. And I started doing it every day. Started going to churches, to schools, and months later, my parents bought this machine so that she could actually. My mom actually made them more professional, where like there was like a pedal that would seal the plastic, and we bought a freezer. And I didn't know it at the time, and I only realized this 10 years later that, as that business scaled, it was actually the only source of income for my entire family. And it was like an interesting thing for me to learn later on, that this like pipe dream. I never got the PlayStation, but like I didn't know at the time that it was actually feeding my whole family. And it's crazy to think about those things. What are some of these big realizations that you've had about yourself as you built this business?
Knowing that I'm capable of doing what I set my mind into. Honestly, before all of this, I had no idea that I was able to manage a business, not even own it, you know? Like, I remember getting my LLC on it, and I was like, that was a big achievement for me. And when I did that, I was like, oh my God, like, I could get stuff cheaper. I could now make more of a profit off of it. But like setting my mind into something that I want to do was like something that I didn't know I was really capable of, something that I didn't know that I was going to be able to be like, hey, like you could do this, Mayra. Like there's something behind me telling me like every time that there's something new that I want to come up with, I double think myself. But then at the end of the day, it's like, you could do this. Whether it succeeds or it doesn't, like at least on the back of my mind, I'm like, I did it. I went for it. So that's something that has been showing me owning this business, that, hey, le tengo que echar ganas. Like I have to like jump forward and then be like, okay, I'm doing this. Like take a big breath and be like, you got this, Mayra.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Um, what have been some of the biggest roadblocks or challenges that you've overcome building this business? But ultimately, what were the learnings from those setbacks?
Seeing how like I remember when I started, I have never seen anyone selling chamoy. It was like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna make it up there within a month or two. I got this. After I started, it's like, here comes another chamoy person. Here comes another chamoy person. Like going to the store and seeing chamoys there, and I was like, like man, like I don't got this. Sometimes it's hard for me to like think and be like, should I really keep doing this? But at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter how many things you throw at me, I'm still gonna try and achieve it. I'm still gonna try and make it even better. Like there's people that have messaged me and they're like, I don't like it. It was too dry, or I need something else. And it makes me think like, should I really change the way I'm doing my stuff? But at the end of the day, it's like, either you like it or you don't like it, but there's always going to be people that are coming back to me.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. I feel like at the beginning of the startup process for a business, you always try to like
complacer a todos.
Everybody. And I've learned that about myself, even as I grow my business. But I think that, particularly from the perspective of being a Latino entrepreneur, I always kind of battled with the sense of identity. I was never really proud of being Mexican. Born and raised there. I was here. I was undocumented most of my life. So I always like try to shy away from it. And I'm already whitewashed it enough where like I always try to blend in. And it's almost like the older I get now, it's the opposite now. I find myself being more nostalgic about my culture. I listen to a lot of like boleros and romantic songs, and Like I feel like I'm starting to find my identity back again to who I am and who I'm supposed to become relative to where I came from. And now I feel like more empowered about it. And it's been a very struggling thing for me to come to terms with. And I think it has to do sometimes where like sometimes you're used to being like the token Mexican or the only one, right? That like, and I feel like that's where I feel like a lot of Latinos are not very collaborative because they're used to just being only one of them. So they feel like if you make it, you're taking it away from me. You know, have you encountered that? And if so, how does that make you feel and what have you done about it?
Yes. So I remember I was at one pop up that I had joined, and it was I think it was my third pop up that I had done. Um, and I remember I arrived to the place, I set up my table, took out all my products, and here comes another Chamoy person. And it's like they set up and everything, and I'm just like, like, oh, like that's it. Like she was at the front, I was at the end. She's gonna make all the money. I'm not. And that day, I was like, I should just go home. Like I should just give up. Like she sells more things. Like she's more creative. I remember at that time my logo. So I had first designed my logo. I went into Microsoft Word and I just did whatever. And she had like nice, beautiful logo. Yes, and it was like it looked like professionally done. And I was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna make it. But no, I made it. I made it through that day. I remember I sold out all my stuff, and I was like so happy, so excited. Um, and I remember when she walked around every table and took pictures and recorded and everything, and she just skips my table. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let her get to me. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure that I don't feel that way.
I think the theme to me of this conversation is like finding your tribe, right? Like there's always going to be 10 different people that are doing the same thing. So I don't think that that's the end all be all, right? Competition is a symptom of a healthy economy. But I think it becomes then about finding the people that resonate towards you, towards the brand, towards the product. But ultimately, I think the founder story has really big power around it. A lot of people probably buy because of you, you know? And the product could be amazing, even not. And sometimes the person will make all the difference. So I think it's super important. And I think like jumping into that, like, I think this is where in today and age, things like social media, like technology really is like this accelerant to help you laser focus and find those people that may not even be here. It might be anywhere in the world. So, obviously our goal here at Cash App is always like empowering and enabling people to be able to like really turn these ideas into businesses. How has technology kind of like enabled you to be better at finding the people that really fuck with your brand, with your story? And ultimately, if you can kind of give some advice to somebody that feels that they kind of want to start, but they don't know how, or they feel like it's too difficult in the age where you have free social media like TikTok or Instagram and even free payment platforms like Astrap, how do you get started? What's the advice that you give to somebody?
Opening this business has shown me how you need to be out there. Like you need to be promoting yourself. Like, yes, I'm not the perfect business owner that is always promoting my products, in which I should be. And then seeing people from other states seeing my products. And I remember when I started, I had a couple people from different states wanting to buy my products. And I was like, I only have Zelle, I only have Venmo or cash, And when you came around with Cash Drop, I'm like, let me see, like, let me check and see what is this all about, And I created my account and I started getting different orders from different states. That's something that like I think every business owner should have, because you made it so easy, like you get an order and like you get to see everything and you get to let them know when to pick up, When is it going to be delivered? When is it going to be shipped? You know, and then at the same time, it's you have your privacy. You know, like they're not calling you or they're not texting you. You get to put your email. You know, and that's something where like right now with like so many scams going around, and it's like for me like it's perfect. And for any other person that wants to start their own business, just do it. You know, like do what I did. Buy something small, start small, but just do it. You know, like give like Cash Drop an opportunity. Put your stuff in there and just promote it. Just have people come to your table, come to your house and show your products, but post it on Cash Drop. You know, like you get to put videos, you get to put pictures, you get to describe your item. And it's like, if you don't want to talk to someone, just send them your link. What else do they need? Like there's pictures in there. Like there's a description of the item in there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it makes it so much easier. Like being able to just open it and like see like,
Yeah.
oh, they bought this, this, and this, and this, then you ship it.
I mean, we like to say our goal is to take away the excuses from starting the business, you know, because I think that we already come from very entrepreneurial people. You know, another statistic, some of our investors did a bunch of research about Latinos in the U.S., and they came up with these statistics that honestly shocked even me. Because, again, I'm like, Latino Renaissance this, Latino Renaissance that, but I never even put it into perspective with numbers. And they said, look, U.S. Latinos represent, this is the number that shocked me the most, 80%. 80% of new businesses in America are started by Latinos. It's not even 30, 40, it's 80%. That kind of shows that we're like some of the most entrepreneurial people in the world. Everybody else is becoming an employee, but we are launching all of the. In 20 years, we're going to be the bosses. We already are. We're our own bosses. But I think as that kind of conscience grows, it's a pretty powerful place to be, you know. So we really represent that. And the other number that shocked me is that Latinos represent 52% of the population growth. So that gave me this hope. Proved to me that the Latino Renaissance is a real thing, but also gave me hope for the future of us, right? And that's something that no matter what I do, I always try to exist to be a great champion of Latino excellence. And I think it's very important to share stories like yours because, you know, life is all about the spectrum, right? Like the diversity within our community is very powerful because it's all kind of joined by the same idea that we ultimately want to do right by those we love, by the community we want to service. So the last two questions that I have for you is, who's been one of your biggest inspirations and why?
Honestly, every vendor that I see. Why? Because there's so many stories behind their businesses. Seeing all the stories from all these women that have kids, that have a full-time job, that are doing this because they need that extra money, that are doing this because they don't have a job. Seeing all these ladies get together once a month with us, that's what I look up to. You know, that's what I want to be able to see every month.
I do believe that is one of the fundamental ingredients of becoming successful is feeling successful and feeling like that you want other people to feel it as well. I commend you for that. My last question to you, I like to do this for everybody, is what's your favorite quote and why?
Échale ganas. You know, like every day I have to remind myself que le tengo que echar ganas. I don't know who said that, but I've heard it from my parents. I heard it from my boyfriend. I've heard it from so many people, especially the days when I say I quit. And you can say it's échale ganas.